and I'm a baking instructor at Sullivan University. Today, I want to show you how to put together a really nice artisan baguette. We'll talk about the ingredients and how to shape one, ferment it, score it, load it in the oven, and pull it out. So this formula came from a gentleman by the name of Raymond Calvel, who brought artisan baking to the United States. He passed away about 10 years ago, but his formula and procedure is followed all throughout the country to maintain this form of baking. So this dough is comprised of something we call an old dough or pâte fermentée, high gluten flour, an organic artisan flour, instant yeast, salt, and water. So we mix that together and we put it in a proofing situation, a warm and a humid environment, and we let it double in size. And when it's doubled in size, we bring it out and we portion it to the shape or the size that our clients have requested. This is a 16-ounce portion that's been rounded and rested. So I will take this rounded portion and I'm going to put the rounded and smooth side down. I'm going to dimple this with my hand to degas it gently, and I'm going to start shaping it by bringing the forward leading edge over, and I'm going to seal it using the palm of my hand, the side of my hand, another third of it over, sealing it gently so that we don't completely degas it because we want a real open air structure. And then I'll bring the bottom part of the dough up and over and use the table to seal it. I'm going to bring the seam up to face me, and I'm going to start to extend it using one hand until I get it about an inch thick, and then I'll add my other hand to extend it. And I am applying a firm but gentle pressure as I work my way out to the ends of the baguette, and then I'm going to taper it, pressing my hands onto the table. I will then transfer it to, this is called a couche. It's a linen piece of fabric, and it's on a proofing board that we will utilize for our next step. I'm going to cozy it up so it has a nice, secure environment. One more time. I'm going to dimple this dough gently so as not to degas it completely. I have a little high gluten flour on the table to keep it a little gritty so my dough doesn't stick. Again, with the top leading edge, a second fold down, bottom up over the top. Use the table to seal it. Make sure my seam is well sealed. Start the process with one hand until I get about an inch thick. Add my other hand and gently but firmly extend it. And I like a tapered end. You don't have to taper it. Use the table to shape your baguette. I like to put the seam down, cozy these guys up, cover them up, and they'll go into a proof box for about 20 minutes until they're ready to be scored. So now I have my baguettes that have proofed. They've doubled in size. They're nice and light. They feel full of CO2, and they're ready to go into the oven. I'm going to take them off of their couche so that I can load them into the oven using this proofing board. This flipping board is a wonderful piece of equipment. It helps you straighten up your baguettes as you're working with them. So I like to have my baguettes right in front of me, parallel. The traditional scoring technique for a European baguette, 5 slashes down the top portion of the dough. This is a lame, L-A-M-E. It's a razor with a handle and it's curved. So I'm going to hold the razor up open so that I can get right underneath the skin of the baguette. So I want to make sure that my scores stay on top of my baguette, not over to the side, and I want to make sure that my scores overlap each other. So I'm going to take my first one, 1, 2, 3, making sure that my third score is in the center of the baguette, and 5. Again, 1, 2, third one right in the center, and 5. So now we're ready to load. A baguette is baked at a very high temperature on a hearth oven. Ideally, you can do it utilizing other ovens. You would need other pans and equipment. But this is going to go on a hearth, and we're going to inject steam. The purpose of steam is to allow the dough to fully expand without forming a crust immediately. It also lends to a real shiny crust, really nice, deep, rich color. A lot of benefits to steaming your dough. So I'm going to load this into the oven, and we'll let them go. Now these baguettes have been in the oven for about 20 minutes at 480 degrees. They're nice and golden brown. They're ready to come out. Beautiful. These baguettes open up like this because of the way we've scored them. The traditional baguette is supposed to resemble wheat. So these look like an ear of wheat. And that is the traditional baguette using pâte fermentée. Thank you for joining us.